Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today is part one of a two-part series where we talk about the entire cast as it stands today. Pre-to-be patch, which I'm not sure if there's even a balance patch for the game, but we're going to talk about the first half of the cast all the way up to Gran, and then part two we'll talk about from Zeta onward. So first up on the list is Zeta. So this is basically a kind of going over their strength, weaknesses, should you play them if you like the character, and kind of like a tier list altogether. Just kind of going over everything about the character. And I'll be brutally honest if I think the character is good or not, and kind of give a consensus of like, if you like this kind of character, you should play this character, or if you like this kind of style of play, you should play said character. So onward to Zeta. All right, so we starting off with a banger with Zeta. She is very strong. Super solid normals. Her 2M is especially very strong. It's probably her best poke. Her 5M is also really good, but I see more of the time people use this 2M only because it is so safe. It's only -3, which is really strong compared to her 5M, which is -6. But yeah, super strong normals. Her 6-6L is very good. She has a good 5H. But her main thing is that her resources, she kind of is like, with meter, she becomes a gun anywhere on the screen. Especially coming off of her ultimates. Her Fireball ultimate, her Spear ultimate. She is a monster when she has meter. And the other big thing with her is her counter, which is yeah, her counter, which is a one hit of armor, and she has follow-ups off of it, which are these. And these especially are, this is probably the best counter in the game, at least as it stands today. This counter has 3 attacks, and they're very fast, and they're pretty safe too. Like, this is a -9 attack. There's no normal in the game that's reaching this far, to be honest. She also has this attack too, which is not used as often, but this one especially is very strong. Because if you get this on hit, it does lead into a full combo, which is pretty crazy. I don't really play Zeta, so I don't know the exact combo, but yeah, if someone pulls up to you and you get this kind of hit, you get a full combo, which is really, really good. Also, her back one is really fast too. Like this activates like incredibly quick. This is a 15 frame like counter attack. The other thing though, this off of the heavy one is gonna combo. Only the regular stance. But yeah, she is the best counter in the game, free. Like I mentioned before, she has a fireball. The other big thing too is she is like, I would say probably a little bit more tactical than the others, just because of how her spear works. Depending on the direction you hold, you get different angles. So her combo wise, like mid screen and in the corner, depends on, or it depends on where you at, where you want to be angling the spear. So she has a straight one, and then she has one that goes upwards. So yeah, she has a lot of like technicality in her combos. But if you like that in a character, there's probably a character you're going to enjoy, especially in a game where a lot of the cast has very like simple combos. She's definitely a little bit more complex. She also has really good a really good fuzzy situation. To be honest, I don't know how long this game's gonna have fuzzy guard setups. I don't even know if I can do it right now. Yeah, right that. So I don't know if later on in the game they're gonna remove this, but as it stands right now, she has probably the best fuzzy in the game, just because she can combo. She has a 3 hit confirmer to this too, or a 2, excuse me, off of the gem medium. I'm pretty bad at doing it though, but because I don't play the character, but yeah, she is. She does her jump U into jump M off of the fuzzy guard setup. But as it stands right now, she does have it. So, and it leads into really fat damage because she has this. Which I don't know the exact combo. Like I said, I don't play the character, but yeah, it's very, very strong. Going back real quick into these moves especially are super strong. Like her ultimates are really, really good. Like she absolutely just oozes damage when she has meter. But yeah, she doesn't really have much weaknesses at all. She is an incredibly top tier character. Just definitely on the lower side of usage just because she is a little bit more difficult to play. But yeah, she's really solid. Her pressure is really good because she has so much damage at her disposal. She has really good ways to beat bro just by having you be able to run up and do this. But yeah, super solid character. If you like a little bit more tactical characters, but are also very strong, you'll probably like her. And her neutral super strong too. So yeah, very overall a very good kit, like a very solid tools, and just has a lot of damage at her disposal if she has the resources. That's probably her only, like, I guess, quote unquote weakness is that she needs meter to really do a lot of damage. But besides that, she has like everything you need, and also the best counter in the game. All right, so next up we have Vaseraga. He is the biggest boy in the game. There's another big body in the game, but this is definitely the big body character. But not the grappler. That goes to Ladiva. But Vaseraga does have a command throw. But he's not primarily the grappler type of the game. He is the big body with armor. So the big thing is he's pretty slow overall. He does have a run like the rest of the cast. But he is quite slow. He's not fast at all. His jump arc is, he doesn't go very far on his jumps. Like, his normal jump is pretty regular, but his super jump is not very long. He has pretty big normals. Mainly his 5H is the biggest normal he has. His 5M is deceptively not super long. It's pretty regular. Honestly, this is probably typical to like Gran's 5M. It's not super long. His 2M isn't very super long either. He does have a really long sweep, so he isn't like exactly the big body with big normals. He's a big body with armor. So his 5U gives him armor on his moves, like his shoulder tackle. He also has his like really far command throw off of the H, which has armor, I'm pretty sure, if I'm staying corrected. But he has the armor stance, which he can move forward with, which has attacks on him already. And he has different follow-ups off of it. So he has like a mid-standing one that guard crushes, if I can get her to stand. Oh, well, also I gotta set it to block. As you see, it does guard break, which leaves him +1. It's not very plus, but it is plus. This one, it does guard crush, but it's -10, but you're so far away, you don't really get punished for it. Like, no, there's no 10 frame normal that reaches this far. And he has this one, which he can hold and become really plus. He is +16 if he holds all the way. If he does nothing, he's -4. But again, -4, there is no 4 frame normal in the game, so he is safe. But yeah. Yeah, super, super big body character with a lot of armor. He does have a really far 2H, even though it is kind of slow. It's not bad. But his main get-in tool, obviously, is having the armor and then doing his shoulder tackle. If you space it right, also, I believe you can make it plus. Yeah, you can make it +7 if you space it. So it's not hard to space it. You can, you know, the plus frames do vary. So right there, it's +4 all the way to +8. That is like the max distance. But you are pretty far when you do it. So honestly, God, it's probably better if you do the lesser plus frames, but still plus enough. But yeah, even there, it's still +3. So I think pretty much like it's always plus besides like really up close. He does have a fireball as well, which is nice and neutral. The EX one and the ult ones are very fast and go very far, but it's not full screen though, which is unfortunate. But yeah, if you're looking for the big body, this is your character. This is the main character for big body. Just has a command throw, but not a grappler. But he has multiple wake ups too. This is actually his invincible attack. Is his command throw, which is pretty unique. He also has this as well, which has super armor, which activates very fast. So it's not frame 1 like an invincible attack, but it is also a solid wake up. And on hit, it does give you a full combo, which is nice to have. And overall, I would say this character is decent. Probably, I would say maybe like in B tier. Not a super strong character, but he's very unique in his own way. So, like I said, if you're looking for the armor guy with like big attacks, right? It's a lot of plus frames. This is gonna be your guy, pretty much. All right, we're on to Eustace. So this is the, I guess, quote unquote like one of the zoners in the game, even though the zoners in this game are like both have zoning and offense in their own way. So first off, he has a fireball that is a bouncing attack, bounce off the ground. Then he has a normal fireball, which is a straight up projectile. If you hold it, it does charge and it does pierce through other fireballs. His ultimate one is very strong. It is all of these hits have high priority. So he is like, if you have meter, you will never lose the fireball war. He is the character to beat all fireballs. Like, his ult bouncing one is really good too. It covers the entire screen. The only big thing about him is that he does have a lot of recovery on these. These are like not. They recover pretty slow, to be honest. So a lot of times if he gets jumped in on, when he does the fireball, he's pretty much gonna get punished for it. And then in terms of normals, his normals aren't super great. They have like weird, like strength. Like his 5L is really strong, goes pretty far, and his 5H is also pretty good. Or excuse me, his 5M is pretty good. It's quite far. He has a solid sweep as well, pretty far sweep. That's pretty safe. But his 5H is not like the farthest normal in the game. Even on max range, sometimes it does miss, like because he has like this little gun part afterwards. And you can't do Raging Strike afterwards, only if you hit like the first part of it. So there's like a weird space where it does miss, but I don't exactly recall. When I fight Eustace, it does happen, where it does miss his Raging Strike. His other moves, though, he does have a grenade, which I've talked about Eustace in the last video about how to beat some of these moves. The grenade is decent in neutral, or excuse me, is decent in pressure, but there are ways around it, so it's not like the strongest move ever. He does have this move, which will trigger an explosion if you shoot at them while it's being stuck up, or it's stuck on the enemy. But overall, he has an okay pressure game with his dash up nothing, and he has like dash up light attack, which is like a solar flare kind of. He has like a backshot gun. Overall, he is like kind of like he's very in and out. Like he has like his zoning potential, and then he can also cause some pressure situations as well. But he doesn't really excel at both. Like he's okay in both, which is kind of weird. Then on top of his normals being like decent to like somewhat decent to being good, like he's a weird character. Like he doesn't excel in any scenario, but he has a little mix of both, a little bit of zoning, a little bit of offense. So if you like that archetype, I would suggest playing him. He does have some really cool combos, which I cannot show off because I don't play the character. But if you're looking for a character that does have some zoning and some offense, there's another character on this list that does have that as well, that I think is a little bit better than him. But if you like that kind of character archetype, you might like him as well. So yeah, if you're into zoning but also kind of want some offense on the side, this is going to be your guy. But to be honest, he's not super strong, I would say. So take that with a grain of salt, obviously, because this is early into the game's life cycle, but things could change. I would probably put him B tier, to be honest. He's, like I said, he doesn't excel at either or, but he does have both, which is nice. But Fireball Wars wise, his ultimate attacks are really strong. Like his ultimate fireballs are really hard to beat. So if you have the resources, he becomes quite scary to fight off. Especially if you're low life, if you're fighting him, like he's almost guaranteed to chip you out. So yeah, that is Eustace in a nutshell. All right, next up we have Uno. So this character especially is a weird one. Uno is a parry style character with follow-up attacks. So he is quite strange. Like it's hard to describe what he really does besides like his parry aspect about him. He has the spear attack that is good against fireballs as well. He's like this defensive character in the game, I guess. Like on top of him having obviously like Brave Counter, he has this parry system that he can do different things out of it if you trigger it. He also has a second one. So this is his 5U. He has like a normal parry. It's I believe it was standing only. And then he has a parry stance that he could do different things out of. So he has like this parry into spear. He has this parry into like a quick strike, depending on what button you press after it. So he is like the parry defensive character, So and then also he has like decent fire, like anti-fireball stuff as well. So he like the defensive character essentially. Like he's not his offense wise, like he doesn't really have much. Obviously he has 6XL, but he doesn't have like any like sort of like mix-up tool. His normals are kind of weird. Like his 5H goes really far, but it has really slow startup. And on block it's -3, so it is safe, but you know, you are very close to them, so it is basically their turn if you don't cancel into anything. But yeah, he's he's a strange one. Honestly, he's probably one of the weakest characters in the game. He doesn't get played at all, really. So I would honestly only suggest playing this character if you just like his design, if you think he's cool, or if you really, really, really want a defensive style character, this is your guy. But honestly, his defense in the game is not great. Like just universally, the defense in this game is really strong. So if you want more of that, I guess this is your guy. But honestly, I wouldn't recommend playing him. I would definitely put him like in a C tier category. He's not very good. But yeah, parry stance has some combo potential, especially in the corner. But every character really has that. So yeah, there's not much to talk about him. He's not very strong. But yeah, parries. That's the character. Okay, now we get into the more interesting characters. This is Seox 6, whatever you want to call him. This is at least my pick. This is my pick for best character in the game. This character is ridiculous. Man, this might be a long one. So he is incredibly fast, super fast character, light on his feet, very strong normals. He's an up close character, right? His normals are strong, even though they don't go very far. So don't let that deceive you. He has a really good 6XL, goes very far. Yeah, like super fast, strong normals. And 5H is like deceptively very good. It's 8 frame. That's like 8 frame startup activation. He has really good stagger pressure off of his like 5L, 5H situation. But like, his special moves are incredible, right? He also has a parry, which is a counter. This counter is not as good as Zeta. So you have to activate it in order to do different things. But it does activate on anything. So if you do nothing and you just do the parry, it'll give you this strike, which if they trigger with the normal, they get hit automatically. Like you can't really do much about it. But if you do different things, like if you press light attack, he will do a dodge. If you press medium, he'll do a same swipe. Or excuse me, if you do light, he'll do the dodge, and then if you do nothing, he'll do the swipe. He doesn't have anything else besides that. But I don't think the frame data changes when he does... Oh, he does. He does go farther. I forgot. He does go farther if you do the heavy counter. But he's still pretty negative. He doesn't, like, recover instantly. But his counter is good, but it's just not as good as Zeta, I would say. But it does trigger off of anything, so... And he does have a ultimate one, of course, which gives him hard knockdown. So, no traditional DP, but does have a counter. His other moves, too, this fireball is incredibly obnoxious. This is, like, probably the best fireball in the game. It becomes plus if you do the heavy attack, which is, like, one of his... On top of it being a combo extender, it is also his best way to keep his plus frames. He can do it in the air, which it lingers in the air, which makes it really hard for you to kind of, like, anti-air him. He also has a dive kick. I don't know why he has a dive kick. He is incredibly obnoxious in the air as well with the fireball and the dive kick. He also has this as well, which can delay his descent to the ground even more, which gives him a full combo. He also has a kind of a Vega dive, wall dive situation, which if you get hit by this is a full combo anywhere on the screen, and it is a lot of damage. Let's see if I can show it off for you guys. Okay, I don't know the combo, but trust me, it's a lot of damage. So he has a lot of ways to deceptively change his air trajectory. On top of him having like really good normals, he also has a Rekka, which Gives you a lot of corner carry. But yeah, he also has a traditional fireball in his 5U. If you hold it, he does go to him, and it is +6, which is comboable. I don't know why. Don't ask me why this character has all these moves, but he just does. Okay. Yeah, in my opinion, this is the best character in the game. I think he has absolutely no flaws. This character can do anything he wants. It is incredibly hard to stop him. You're basically at his mercy of his offense. Just because he has so many ways to get in and so many different like ways to change his trajectory and B plus. It is incredibly hard to stop. You just kind of have to like have good offense of your own to stop him. Like I said, his only weakness is his counter, which is obviously throwable. So if you can bait his counter, it's his only real big defensive option outside of Brave counter. But offensively, he is a monster. Neutral-wise, he's incredibly obnoxious because he has so many ways to get in. On top of Jaguar Dive, giving you a full combo. It's yeah, this character is ridiculous, ridiculous. So if you want a character that does absolutely everything on offense, this is gonna be your guy. I highly doubt if he gets nerfed, he'll be much weaker than he is right now. Even in the OG version of Granblue, not a non-rising, he was incredibly strong. So he was even stronger before. So yeah, this character is incredibly obnoxious. Very very strong offensively. Has a lot of ways to get in. His only real weakness is him having a counter and not a traditional reversal. But honestly, this is also invincible as well, which I forgot to mention. So yeah, yeah, easily S tier character. Easily, this is an insane character. Alrighty, next up we have Lancelot, which is it's kind of funny that Seox or Six is next to Lancelot because they do play very similar. Also a fast character, has a lot of ways to change his air trajectory. Not as much as Seox, but does have a wall dive as well. So if I can get it to trigger, I don't know how to do it exactly, but he does have a wall dive to make it really obnoxious for him to get out of the corner. He does have a teleport that gives him into the air. But yeah, he has a couple ways to change the air trajectory. Very fast character, very versatile. He does have a traditional fireball, unlike Seox. The heavy one goes really slow. You can follow it behind it. Just doesn't go full screen. Also has a Rekka attack. This one's probably a little bit better than Seox in some ways, but weaker than others. He only has this attack. He doesn't have like any follow-up that leaves him plus or anything like that. But the corner carry is a little bit better than Seox in some regard. Also has I guess a lariat style attack. That does wall bounce, which gives you a full combo, of course. But yeah, they're kind of like two very offensive characters. I keep referencing Seox, but yeah, he is also incredibly strong. I would easily put him S tier as well. Seox is probably a little bit better than him, but not by much. He also has really good stagger pressure. He has a similar 5H that has 2 hits on it. His sweep is a slide, which is nice. Catch people off guard quite a bit. On top of him, obviously, having a running 5M. Also having 6XL, which is really good for a fast offensive character. But there's not so much to talk about. He's a pretty straightforward character. The other big thing too is this move. His 5U, like his ultimate fireball, leaves you in a slowed state. So if you see how Zeta is kind of like hopping around, if I slow her, she goes a little bit. Her stance is a little bit slowed. So this means like she just moves a lot slower. So I'll show you. You see how slow I move right there for a second? See how slow my jump attack is? Yeah, it is incredibly strong. On top of him having a restand, which is a... Yeah, he has a restand, which is very good. It gives you insane combo extension in the corner. he has like this kind of a. If I could do it for you. I forget. Oh yes, so yeah, he does. I don't know exactly the combo, but he does something like this where he restands you, and he can like side swap and then get an extension for it. I'm not exactly sure how to do the combo, but his ultimate attacks are really strong. The fireball especially, and the restands lariat. So yeah, super strong character offensively, very similar to Seox. So if you don't like Seox, I would try Lance if you do like offensive characters. But yeah, he's a little bit more straightforward, I would say, than Seox. Seox has a little bit more. He's a little bit more versatile, but has like a slightly bit more complexity to him. Like they're not hard characters, but yeah, if you like offensive characters, he is definitely your guy. Super strong as well. If you don't like Seox for whatever reason. All right, so next up we have Percival, who definitely get the short end of the stick out of the Dragon Knights in this game. If you don't know who they are, it's Lance, Siegfried, Percival, and Vayne, who comes later this year. But Percival used to be incredibly top tier in the OG version of the game, but he is much weaker now. He does have big buttons. His big buttons still stand. His 5M and his 5H are incredibly far. His 5L is also pretty far. But overall, he's definitely much weaker. He does have a command throw, but it is too far to get any combo. He used to be able to get 5M off of this. In the corner, he does get a combo with 5M, but mid-screen, he gets nothing anymore. He did have an anti-fireball super, but not anymore. The super used to go really far. It does still go pretty far, but it doesn't beat fireballs anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. So it's a nice hit confirm into his 5H and the super. So pretty good damage. His super used to be safe. It's not safe anymore, which is like incredibly obnoxious. But his main mechanic is he does have this buff up, which my inputs are kind of blocking it. But if you see like in the middle, there's like a fire symbol. It goes up to, I think, 9. Or if you do the ult version, it goes up to 9. So you have 9 stocks of this. So essentially, it buffs up his move. So he has a fireball. If you do the powered up version, it goes full screen. It's faster. He has a DP. If you do the buff version DP, it goes farther, faster, more damage. He also has this running attack that has different follow-ups. So he has a low attack with it. If you do the power version, the low attack will knock down. If you don't do it, it just does a little hit. And it's 0 on block, or 0 on hit. He has a body slam that's plus if you block it. And he has a stab attack, which is very unsafe, but it's mainly a combo ender. You're not really using this as a tool to like cause pressure. This is like your combo attack ender. I thought I comboed off of this, but maybe it didn't. I'm not exactly sure. I forget. But the other big thing is because he has ultimate, he has a flame carpet style fireball. So if you stand in it, it does take damage from them. You can't tell because I'm in training mode. But if I turn off none, as you see, Zeta is slowly losing her life. It's okay. It's not like amazing or anything, but he does have it. It's nice for pressure. But overall, he's not super strong. He does have good normals, but there are a lot of characters with good normals that do way more than him. So, to be honest, I'll probably put him in C tier. He's very weak right now. So, but if you like a character with like big buttons like this, kind of plays a little bit slower, he might still be your guy. But overall, he's definitely not very strong this version. All right, finally the last of the Dragon Knights, the brand new comer to Rising. He is brand new to this game. And honestly, if you if you like Percival in the last game, you should honestly just play him. You should just play Siegfried because he is essentially the new Percival. He is slow moving, not super fast, but really good normals. His normals are incredibly strong. He has a very far 5L. His 2M is really good. His 5M is really good. He has an incredibly far 5H, even though it is really slow recovery wise. He has an insane 2H. His normals are ridiculously good. Like, he is definitely, if you like Percival last game, play him. He has a really big fireball. Um, he has a faster light fireball and a really big medium fireball that does have a 1 extra hit of attack. His EX1 also has 3 hits on it, so it's really easy to follow up afterwards if you just run past it. He has the stance attack that he can delay and do moves out of it. So he has a kind of a upward strike. He has a parry. He has a downward strike, and he has a command throw. Oops, trying to show off the command throw. There we go. But on top of his normals and his fireball, he has traditional DP, which is nice. And then he has this move, which is really good. This move, if you charge it, becomes plus. He does a really big ground bounce. You get a combo off of it. This move is actually his main way to as a anti-air follow-up. So if you do get it countered off of anti-air, that is like your main way. So he has a really, really easy anti-air combo off of counter it with this charge-up attack. The heavy one is really fast, and it's nice to use from far range to combo, because sometimes this one doesn't combo all the time, especially if you're max distance. But this will combo no matter what. So it's a nice combo ender if you're really far away. I play this character a little bit, so I kind of know a little bit more about him. He has a nice sweep, two hits on it. Yeah, he has a lot. He has also a way to change his trajectory with his 5U that hits both sides. So if you're going to get anti-aired, you could do this to change your air trajectory. But yeah, he's super solid. Also, on top of it, he has a way to get from corner to corner. And you put that heavy fireball on top of them. But yeah, he's super basic, super solid character. Easily S tier character. His 6XL as well is very far. And because you have access to like follow-up attacks too, like he's his only main weakness, honestly, is probably like his mid-screen conversions aren't the best, but if you have meter, you can take them corner to corner. He's incredibly strong character. Like I said, if you like Percival last game, you like the little more slower base neutral, but also has like ways to get in for offense. Like his offense is pretty linear, but it's still really good. This is definitely your guy. He is incredibly easy, incredibly strong. You can't go wrong with Siegfried. All right, next up we have Zooey. So Zooey is definitely more of the complex side of the characters of the cast. So what she does essentially is she has a dragon companion that does different attacks. So initially, if you summon him, he does a fireball, which will clash with the fireballs. And he has a fire attack, a fire blast. So depending on where he is, he'll do the attack. And then he also has a beam attack, which also beats fireballs. So it is incredibly hard to like throw fireballs out of her just because she has those attacks, which is like really obnoxious. The other thing is she has a way to charge it back up. So every attack she does with the dragon will deplete some of the meter. So obviously she has no meter. She can't do any of the follow-ups. But if you charge it back up, she'll gain her meter back. And she has a way to, if you hold forward plus an attack, she has this invincible, like... So it's basically a way to prevent you from getting hit by fireballs and stuff like that while you're charging up. But yeah, that's her dragon, essentially. She has other very strong moves as well. She has this kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it like a, I don't know how you want to call it, but she has like this dive attack, essentially. It's not plus though. If I can make a block. It's -2. She does have different ways to get it to make it go. So she has her medium attack that goes a little bit higher, but not as far. Her light one goes kind of more farther distance, but this one goes a lot higher. It does actually go pretty far. My mistake. It does go pretty far, but it is a lot slower, so it's easier to anti-air. But it is 0 on block, and then she has her heavy one, which is invincible in startup and is +2, which is like incredibly good. And then her I guess reversal is her her ultimate attack one, but this is -10, so it is obviously punishable. She also has like this Rekka style attack, which does have different follow-ups. Okay, if you press forward, I was trying to figure out how to do it. But yeah, if you press back, it gives you the low attack. If you press forward, it gives you this upward attack, so you get a combo extension off of it. The other big thing is her ult fireball is really good because it gives her half her meter back from her dragon, and it is a really fast, really big, high priority fireball. So her neutral game against fireballs is really strong. She also has a lightning attack in the air that I forgot to mention. Also on the ground as well. This is really good for mix-ups wise because she has ways to set it up where she can hold it and then throw you and like do a bunch of other funny, obnoxious mix-ups. And I forgot to mention though, her normals are pretty good. She has a pretty solid normals that go very far. Her 2M is really good. Her 5M is really good. Her sweep is okay. It's not the greatest. But her jump attacks are solid too. Nothing like super amazing about them, but her normals and on the ground are very strong. So definitely more complex than some other characters, but very, very good. So if you like a character that's super strong against fireballs, that have like really good neutral game, and some decent mix-up tools, this is definitely your girl. I would say she's probably A tier. I thought she was going to be really, really good in this game, but it turns out she was not super S tier, but she is still really strong. So if you do like the kind of character she is, you know, definitely I would consider picking her up for her neutral and her obnoxious ways to deal with fireball. All right, next up we have Ladiva. So Ladiva is the grappler character of the game. The other, I guess, big body character. But yeah, grappler. This is your character for sure. Also has a lariat attack, which is nice. It does whip on crouchers, but it is one way for Diva to get in, which is nice. Has an air throw as well. This is mainly used for combo enders, not like a big. It's not really like an anti-air, but this is like your main way to get combo enders. This is her biggest move though. Her headbutt. Her headbutt is very strong. It is like her best way to get combo extensions. It's her main way to cause pressure. Yeah, this move especially is incredibly important for her. On block is also plus, which is nice, +3. If you do the second hit, it is 0. So if you do the third hit, it is -2. So only her first one is a plus. But it's nice to go into command throw with it. It's just very strong. It's also really good in this game because they changed how shortcuts work. So you don't lose any damage if you do the shortcut now. So you gain her full damage on her command throw, which is not a lot. It's not like Zangief command throw. But, you know, still command throw, still unreactable, very fast. Does give you a lot of damage on the ult version, though. Ult version is 4K, which is really nice. But she is not very strong in this game, unfortunately. I did like playing her in the OG. But in this game, she's not very strong. She has good medium attacks, though. Her medium attacks are very far. She has a sweep that's pretty obnoxious. It's very unsafe, though, but it's quite fast. So, and it's definitely a character you don't want to be getting knocked down by. So, but she is pretty, pretty slow, grappler style character. Her pressure-wise is not super great outside of her headbutt. When she doesn't have headbutt, her pressure and her combo game is like pretty weak. So this is like she's really relying on this move, to be honest, because Lariat whiffs on crouchers. All of them whiff on crouchers. The only one that doesn't is the ultimate version. So it is nice that she has that, and it is quite fast. So that's like her main way to do it. Also, her ult version of her headbutt is unblockable, which it exists, but honestly, you probably want to use the heavy version if you do play her. But yeah, not super strong. She's pretty reliant on certain moves, and she is quite slow. But this is like the only real grappler character of the game. So if you want to play the grappler character, this is your only option. I guess the other option would be Vaseraga, but he's more of a like armor big body. But I mean, yeah, there's not that much to say about Ladiva. Not very strong. I'd probably put her in C tier. Most people would put her in C tier. But who knows? She could be stronger later on. She's not a terrible, terrible character, but definitely needs some help as this version of the game stands. All right, next up we have Narmaya. So Narmaya is easily the most complex character in this game. Her big thing is why she's so complex is she has two stances, which changed up all of her attacks. So on top of her normals, it does change up her specials as well. So she has one with the sheathed sword and then unsheathed, which change up her attacks, like I said. Even her 2H, like everything about her, besides her movement, stuff like that. But all of her special moves, all of her normals. She does have a lot of plus range attacks. Obviously, her jab is plus. Her 2M is also plus when she is unsheathed, so +1, which is nice. Which is different compared to her other one, which is a little bit farther range. So her main thing is that this is more of her offensive stance. It doesn't change her running attacks, though. That's the one normal they don't change. Her running attacks are still the same, regardless of whether she has the sword out or not. But her sheath one is kind of like her neutral stance. So she has a anti-fireball attack, which is her medium attack allows her to activate act out of it immediately, which is so she can press a normal or do whatever she wants out of it. She has a DP in her sheath stance. She has a dash teleport. And then she has a. Oh yeah, they're both the same. So if you do down, she does her longer version, and if you do standing, it does her quick slash. And then out of sword, which she's unsheathed. Like I said, her normal is a +1 at 2M. Her 5L is still plus. Obviously, her running attacks are still plus. And then she has a Rekka style, or not Rekka style, but she has a combo ender / like extension style move. She has this moon swipe that is plus on block. I believe her H1 is, right? Her medium one. Sorry, her medium one and her H1 are plus. And then this one is really obnoxious because it is teleport. It removes her off the screen. So the attack itself is invincible frame 1, but when she teleports off the screen, she is invincible for a brief second. So you can hit her after she reappears, but this move especially is good against throws because a lot of Narmayas will run up and then do this move and then get a full combo. Yeah, so definitely avoid getting hit by this. So this one is a little bit different. So this one is an armored reversal, so it is throwable versus the other one, which is a straight up reversal attack. So out of sheath, she does have a armored point. It's a weird reversal, but yeah. And then obviously this one knocks down. So, but yeah. So reversal, actual reversal, invincible attack. She has a sword out. This becomes a guard point. So it's a little bit weaker than her regular sheath reversal attack. And also I forgot to mention, you can also do this in the air, which is incredibly obnoxious. It doesn't fully track, so thank God. It's kind of like a close-up, like swipe. But she also does it in the air. She also is plus. She's +1, so don't press the button afterwards. So her big thing, she is really good offensively against throws, especially. On top of the fact that she does have a lot of ways to stay plus. And then she's a very tricky character to fight. Her normals are pretty solid. She has a lot of attacks you have to deal with. You have to be ready for. And she's pretty complex. So her combos often vary, or often kind of like swap in and out between stances. I don't know how to do them, but they're not super hard, but they definitely take some time to get used to. And on top of just like remembering what moves are in cooldown for a brief period of time and like what you need in certain scenarios, like it's definitely the most complex you're gonna get in this game. But overall, she's decent. I'll probably put her B tier, maybe A. I don't know. It's a rough one to put her in. Some people argue she's pretty weak. Some argue she's like decent at best. I know Japan doesn't like her. I know Japan thinks she's pretty weak, but I think overall she's decent. She definitely struggles against certain characters. Like I know Belial's very, very good against her. Matchup wise, I don't know too much about her. But yeah, I mean she's cool. She's a really cool character. So if you like her design, if you like that she's complex, and she's like a really tricky, like interesting character, very fast as well. You know, solid offense. She's decent overall. She's definitely has a nice toolkit to get around certain things. Um, and she has the battle pass costume. So if you like this costume, definitely grab it quick because it's in the battle pass until the next one happens, which is very soon. So yeah, she's a cool character. I definitely like her. But I'll probably put her like probably B tier overall. And then last but not least, my boy, my original boy, John Granblue. This is the guy. This is the man who's in every free battle in the free to play version. I do plan on making a guide for him, like a full guide. But the guides take a while because I like to really dissect the character, and I want to make it a character that I play a lot. But overall, he's John Granblue. His normals are pretty average. He has average normals, decent. He does have a +1 medium attack, which is nice, or crash medium. His sweep goes really low to the ground. It's quite fast, which is nice. His main big mechanic is that he has this charge up attack, which the more you charge it up, the stronger it hits, and it becomes invincible if you fully charge it. It does give you a wall bounce. It's nice for pressure because he can cancel out of it. So especially out of 5H stuff like that, you can kind of create some frame trap situations where you delay the strike, and you can stay safe. Even though he is -5, if you space it out good enough, you'll be safe. And on counter hit, it does give you a wall bounce in the corner, so you get a lot of damage. That is his big thing. Besides him having okay pressure situations, frame trap wise, he does have a lot of damage. He does a insane amount of damage. But moves wise, he has a fireball, he has a reversal attack, and then he has a 2-hitting Rekka, so he has the swipe into boot. So obviously blah blah blah, swipe boot, gives you some decent corner carry. He can do the boot by himself, which does give you a wall bounce, which is nice, which leads into fat damage, of course. But yeah, super easy character to play. Very straightforward. I guess he doesn't have anything super incredible about him. His ult fireball knocks you down, but his ult attacks overall are not super strong. I wish they were stronger. The other big thing I wish they would change, especially for Zeta and Gran, is that 2 of his special moves are tied together. So when I do the ult version of the boot, both the swipe and the boot are tied together. So he has 3 special attacks. He doesn't have 4, he has 3, which I wish they would have gave him another special attack, but it's okay. But yeah, he's decent. I'll probably give him A tier. He's not super incredible offensively, and he doesn't have anything super cheap in order to get in. He's very, very, very vanilla. But he does have a lot of damage. His pressure game is pretty decent overall. So not as good as Zeta, which we'll talk about in the next video. Zeta is really good. But overall, Gran's decent. He's not terrible, but they're definitely characters that fill in that void of basic, strong, basic and strong that are just better than Gran in a lot of ways. So, but if you want a super basic character, or if you're just playing the game at the free to play version, if you want to learn Gran, he's very easy to play. But I will make a guide about him in the near future. Yeah, that's it. Not too much to talk about Gran. Very, very vanilla. All right, that is it for the first half of the cast. Here's a tier list of where I put them overall, and then obviously this tier list will fill out once we finish the second half of the cast. But we definitely talked about some pretty strong characters. We had Zeta in here, we had Seox, we had Six, and we had Lancelot, we had Siegfried. And then we have the second half, we still have some pretty strong characters we haven't talked about yet. But obviously next we're going to talk about Zeta, which is definitely up and coming as a very, very strong character. But yeah, we'll talk about her in the next video starting off. So overall, hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of a insight on each character so far. But yeah, definitely, this game is still free to play, and obviously the rotation changes all the time. Some characters obviously pop up more than others. But yeah, so we'll see you in the next half where we talk about the other side of the cast.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。